Thank you. I think it's quite a humbling experience to be standing here amidst very eminent speakers who have spoken before me and who will be also speaking after me. Here I am today to talk to you about water, sanitation, and hygiene in schools. Mine is a very short presentation. I have come here with a very open mind to answer some of your questions, and also I carry the message from my senior management announcing, not exactly announcing, but happy to say that we will be soon entering into a partnership with Rotary and hoping to change the face of schools in India to whatever extent we can jointly and share the vision of our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji. My preceding speaker just mentioned that, Rotary is so committed to the movement of literacy in India. And let me tell you, no literacy campaign will be successful without talking of water, sanitation, hygiene in schools. And I'm really pleased to see WASH in schools as a dedicated session in today's discourse. And here I am to share some of the key highlights of the program. Now, I'm sharing with you a quick slide, and I don't know, anybody from the crowd might just give his or her interpretation of what is there in this particular slide. It's open to all, so probably somebody could just stand up and say, what is your interpretation of what you see here? Any quick answers, quick guesses? Okay. Okay, somebody said blindly following. Well, yes, it is a group of sheep. Somebody said it's along the railway track. Yes, but what I can see is these are the sheep of the same size, same sex, sorry, not same size, same species, same sex, same gender, but there is a difference. You can see some of them are fat, well-fed, healthy, and some of them are very thin and weak. And you know why? Because the ones who are weak have not been given deworming tablets. A very simple, small intervention. And the ones which are healthy have been dewormed. And this has been shared by WHO. This is a slide straight from WHO, manuals. So this is the difference that it can make to our children as well. And deworming is a part of the WASH in Schools program. Should be, ideally. So now, UNICEF and other partners globally has been engaged in WASH in Schools for a few years now. These are the 20 years of WASH in Schools, as you can see. Slowly, initially there were non-coordinated efforts of school hygiene, different organizations doing bits and pieces of WASH in Schools as whatever they could interpret. Somebody was doing a global hand washing day on October 15, somebody was doing some hygiene promotion programs in a few schools, some people were doing some infrastructure programs, and so there were efforts, but they were not coordinated efforts. So slowly, by 2005, we had the first international roundtable meeting and framework for action, which was at Oxford. And slowly there was a global, attention to WASH in Schools, again, led by UNICEF in this case. Then there was WHO, then there was UNDP and other organizations who have slowly been, into the fold. Finally, in 2000, around the period of 2010 to 13, we had a lot of advocacy efforts, happening all over the world. We were represented in we had got a session at University of North Carolina in 2012. Then we had Stockholm World War II Week. Then we had Sakusan South Asia, a conference on sanitation. WASH in Schools was a separate topic, and Africa sanitation, Africa San, and so on and so forth. So slowly, WASH in Schools is gaining global visibility and at the place that it deserves. But coming to India, let me share with you a few key statistics. And all of you, some of you may be already knowing, some of you, it may be a pretty surprising fact. We have 61 million stunted children in India. We have 595 million people defecating in the open. It is half of the world's population who defecates in the open. Globally, it is about 2.2 million. and we are almost 50%, that is 600 million. So that is, our contribution to the world in terms of open defecators. We have 6 million million children who are out of school. We have 1.4 million children who died before they turned 5. We, all of us, have a responsibility to bring these figures down. And what is our global footprint? We have 28% of the neonatal deaths. All of this has got some link to sanitation, to wash and schools. We have 22% of the under 5 deaths and 20% of the maternal deaths. We have 60% of the open defecation, like I just said. We have 40% of all child marriages. We may or may not directly work with that, but definitely that is our global footprint. And then we have 33% of the world's stunted children. An average child in India, he or she is born into an environment which is full of open defecation all around. 48% of our children are stunted. A child in India grows into an environment which contributes to his early diarrhea, contributes to stunting, contributes to a child who grows up with less intellectual capital, human capital, physical potential, and ultimately he or she is a burden to the nation, which all of us are actually carrying forward, right? So we all have a responsibility to bring these statistics down. So what is the big issue? Why are we talking of water, sanitation, hygiene? And why are we talking today? And why is the Prime Minister so aggressively pushing this? Apart from the fact that our cities are not clean, and our villages are not clean, so there is a whole issue of solid waste management and liquid waste management. But there is a very significant issue of health that we need to deal with, we need to tackle with. So this is the big issue. That stunting, which is low height for age, as many of us do understand this, is thought to contribute to over a third of under 5 deaths globally. India has the largest number of stunted children, like we just discussed, one of the largest numbers in the world, with over 40% of moderately or severely underweight. So what happens? A child is born into an environment which there's a lot of fecal coliform. He or she ingests as infants and as young children. So it leads to diarrhea, it leads to environmental enteropathy, which is a status situation of your intestine, where the intestine gets constricted and the space available for absorption of nutrients get reduced. And then there are intestinal worms. All of this directly leading to child undernutrition. So somewhere we have a very strong and a clear linkage for the lack of sanitation, either in the community or in the schools, sanitation facilities, either in the community or in the school, which contributes to this situation. And this has been a data set. This is a secondary desk review, which has been collected from 171 surveys globally and has been published in The Lancet, which is a medical journal, as many of us understand. Well, so again, another health statistics. These are very simply put. We don't need to be big scientists to be able to understand this. I mean, as we all understand, here is a very simple statistics to show. The simple act of hand washing reduces diarrhea by different percentages, but more or less you can say an average of 44% of cases of diarrhea can be reduced simply by an act of institutionalizing hand washing or practicing hand washing either in school or at homes before eating and after defecation. So these are studies which are across, very senior. These are longitudinal studies done over several countries and several years, and these are the conclusions that has been drawn. This is also another slide which I wanted to show very briefly. Mr. Gupta also had shown this a little while ago, and you can see just one single intervention alone might impact diarrhea morbidity, but when you combine water, sanitation, and hygiene, you get the best results. Almost 57% of the cases are reduced. You get the best results when you combine all that. And therefore, we are talking of a composite package in schools, like you just heard. Now, this is an experience from Philippines. Again, I myself have seen this, and this is the data from that particular example, where they had done one single intervention, and that was simply ensuring that children wash hands and wash hands with soap before the meals and use toilet in schools. And the results are the days of absence in 2009. They have been implementing this program for about 5 years now. So the number of days of absence have reduced by 27.3%, and the body mass index, which was below normal, has been reduced by below normal body mass index has been reduced by almost 20.4%, 20%. Heavy worm infection, and this is very critical. Worm infestation because of the simple act of using toilet and washing hands with soap before they ate has gone down by 47%. Now, these are very important statistics for us to believe and then start, our interventions in schools. And look at the investments. It's less than $1 per child per year. It is that little investment that we are talking of that can make a significant difference to the life and future of the child here. So what is WASH in Schools? Again, it's probably a recap what you heard from the first presentation. It provides a healthy, safe, and secure school environment. WASH in Schools helps ensure quality education, because healthy and well-nourished children can fully participate in schooling and gain maximum benefits. Quality education in India leads to better health and nutritional outcomes, and we have been talking of girls, how they drop out of school the moment they enter puberty. They do not have a private and a secure space to change or to go to, or even if the water is not there in the bathroom, they feel reluctant to use the toilet, and so on. It encourages children's pride, and investment in school children, remember, is an investment in the future of our country. So this is the overall WASH in Schools program and policy perspective in India. We have the right to education, which has been passed in 2009 by Government of India. Then we now have the national mission, which is by the name Swachh Bharat Swachh Vidyalaya. And then we have the Prime Minister's call to corporates and public sector to make a huge, investment in WASH in Schools. What is important for us to understand is now WASH in Schools has got a new host. It has, there's a shift in the ministry. Why I'm saying this is because so far, till about last year, it was Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation who had played a major role in, investment in the physical infrastructure for WASH in Schools. Now there's a whole new ministry. The Ministry of Human Resource Development has taken up leadership, and we're expecting that, this ministry will really accelerate this progress towards Swachh Bharat Vidyalaya. Now, this is a bottleneck analysis. I just want to quickly show you the key we had done for WASH in Schools as a sector. We had studied policies, we had met people, we had analyzed the surveys done. So these are the 4 key bottlenecks that we see. 1 is availability of soap. 2 is availability of infrastructure for hand washing. 3 is the functionality of toilets. And 4, probably you cannot read it out, so I'm just doing that for you. And 4th is data. We don't realize, but we really do not have the right data. And whatever data we have, which is the national DICE data or the EMIS, it really doesn't capture the quality of infrastructure. In many cases, you might find very nice statistics, but in reality, when you go there, the quality of infrastructure may be so poor that children are tempted to go out and use some other, use the open. So this is the document. I have a few copies with me for those who are interested. There are about 20 copies. Please, I'm urging you, at least, at your keynotes, if you can just collect these documents, you could read through. This is a new mission that the ministry has launched. You have been hearing that, so please read through. This is the essential package. It talks of gender-segregated toilets, separate toilets for boys and girls. It talks of daily hand washing with soap. It speaks of safe drinking water. It speaks of compulsory operation and maintenance, behavior change towards hygiene practices and hand washing, and building of capacities of teachers, government officials, district frontline workers, district officials, and so on. So this is the package which you just saw. So finally, a couple of final slides. What is it that we want to see in one school? Just remember this, and we are talking of KISS, keep it simple and scalable. We don't want to implement something which can only run in one school and not in the other and not in the other. Let us look at something which can be modular, which can be, scalable, which can go to 10,000 plus 10,000 plus 10,000 schools at probably at a minimal human resource support and minimal, efforts, and which is, self-replicable. Very simply, we want all children to wash hands before the midday meal. You know why we are trying to advocate with the government that every child in India should wash hands before the midday meal program, because the potential is to reach 110 million children who have food every day in the school, in about 1.4 million schools in India. So that is the potential that we are talking of. So that is the scale and that is the vision that we all should have. If we can impact health of 110 million children, we will be able to, reach the health. So these are the simple interventions that we are talking of. So finally, this is probably the last slide I want to leave you with. Now, in 2030, you must be hearing about the Millennium Development Goals, which are now making way for the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2030, the targets, globally, these 3 targets will be followed. All schools will be provided with basic drinking water facility. All schools will be provided with adequate sanitation facility, and all schools will be provided with hand washing and menstrual hygiene management facility. These are the global targets the UN has announced. And thank you for your patience. Thank you.